Napoleon Hill talked about the mastermind principle, and that is a collection of people, and the collective wisdom and efforts of those people are much more than the individual efforts. Hopefully, you are learning that with the board of directors that you've put together, your professionals, etc., etc. I end up doing a VIP mastermind group, best mentoring that I do. We meet once a week, but we also do two, right now, virtual events, which are 2 days of training with that group. And one of the things I see in that is the value of that group if people participate and share are lessons learned that can be passed on to the other people, and advice certainly that can be passed on. Do I do a lot of that? I absolutely do. But in addition to that, the members of that mastermind have been able to share things that have worked for them and things that didn't work for them. And that collective wisdom can help, obviously, the process and keep that moving. One of the things that's critically important during that process when we do it is to look at the goals that you have. Look at the 1-year goal that you have. Look at the steps that would be required to get there. Have you been able to make progress towards that? If you have, great. If you haven't, what needs to change? And that process of evaluating your goal, looking at how you spend your time, looking at what's working, looking what's not working, is critically important to continuing to move the ball up the field. We've talked about the Ivy Lee method, and that is where every night you take a look at the tasks the next day that you need to do to move the needle and prioritize those. A lot of people have a to-do list, but in that to-do list they don't prioritize it, and not all tasks are created equal. So take a look at those tasks that will move the needle, get you closer to your goal, and then arrange your day such that you work on those first and get those done. As opposed to, well, that's an easy task, so I'll go ahead and do that. If you do that, if you work on the most important things consistently, you evaluate what's working, what isn't working, how you can change that, you will usually find that you can adjust, make more progress. Not everything you're going to do will work, so you'll need to change some of those things. And a collective group and that wisdom can help you to not learn from those mistakes yourself, but take the collective wisdom of that group and say, yeah, we had that problem as well. We ended up fixing that with this, and whatever this is to implement that. But certainly that's a really important part of this. Set your goal, work consistent action. There's nothing that's going to replace action kissing frogs. And the more I do this, the more I see that this is a process of following the process, taking consistent action, evaluating what's working, what's not working, do more of what is working, and correcting those things that aren't working. And if you end up doing that, you will find that you begin to make progress. Those successes build on each other. Your confidence increases, your self-image increases, and, as I've said many times, self-image, self-esteem is the barometer of the success you will have. So I would encourage you to remember that. Remember, this is a process. For a lot of people that have not been in sales, this sales roller coaster ride, as I describe it, is a new experience. You will have things that work. You will have periods of time when everything seems to click, and times when nothing seems to click. And persistence in pushing through those, evaluating them, changing tactics is critical in those times. I don't know if you will be successful at this. I don't know you. I don't know how much effort you put into it, but I do know the process works, and I would encourage you to keep that in mind. Celebrate your successes along the way. Keep those big goals in front of you and keep moving towards them. If you're stuck on what can I do as far as the steps, go over to brucewhipple.com. There's free materials there. The boot camp is there, which is the best training that I've gotten following the steps with templates. And make sure you stick to those steps. There's a tendency to want to jump steps. That's usually a big problem. And lastly, we're up on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, go over to Bruce Whipple Official. There's more than one Bruce Whipple on there. And give a tag or a share, and I'd appreciate that. So Keep pushing. Remember the mastermind. You could have put a group together. Use that group. One of the most important things is when you have that group, don't be afraid to use it. A lot of people end up saying, well, I'll look stupid if I ask that question. Ask that question. Take advantage of that wisdom that your team around you has and implement those actions. So that is my best advice. Have a plan, stay focused on it, stay action oriented, and adjust what's working and not working. And if you do that and consistently move the ball, you will have a better chance at success than those that aren't taking consistent action and following a plan.